Welcome to the Work Your Money podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Wong.
I'm your co-host, Willie Morales.
Each week, we talk to people, either on the internet, through the phone, or in person.
We try to get the best business minds on this podcast.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe on iTunes, and please enjoy the show.
Today we have a great guest. His name is Vince Chang. He is a host of a podcast called Backcourt Violations, and he's also a comedian, and he's in the entertainment business. Hi, Vince.
Hey, how you doing, love? How you doing, Jay? What's up, Will? Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Vince, thanks for being here. And we're here at B-Box Studio. I got to thank Vince because he's the one that told us about it. And we're here doing our first show at the studio.
Popping that cherry, baby.
Definitely.
So, Vince, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, again, my name is Vince Chang. I'm from Jamaican Chinese descent. I'm a 6'2" African American, Sagittarius. Love Johnny and Ginger. But I'm also a stand-up comedian. That's my bread and butter. But I also act. I'm in a play today, actually. We'll talk about it, I heard later on. I do host a podcast, Backcourt Violation, here at B-Box Radio with Sam Mushman, in which we talk about college basketball off the court. Also, I'm a voiceover artist. I'm just a creative here in New York City. Like, I'm not a hipster, though. I do not consider myself a millennial. No, the only millennial is the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. I don't understand millennials. I don't like millennials, period. Don't like y'all. Y'all still think you're entitled. Hard work, but we're going to talk about that later. That's a little bit about myself.
Okay.
After that, I don't even know what to say.
It's kind of funny that you're also Chinese Jamaican, you said?
Jamaican Chinese. I make sure I put the Jamaican before the Chinese, because when I walk into any store or stuff, they don't go, oh, he look Chinese. No, he look like a black man. So I make sure I emphasize that. But I am proud of my culture, the percentage I am. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I'm a mix too. I'm Chinese Dominican.
You a Dominican Chinese? What?
Yeah. And I speak Spanish. Chinese, forget it. That's out the window. I can understand just a little bit, but other than that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's good to know that we have another one that is another person that's also mixed as well. So.
Well, we're called Blasians. We're Blasians because if you mix
That's what they call it, Blasians?
Blasians, yeah.
Okay.
Because if you mix a Puerto Rican and a black guy, you get a Dominican. So
So how did you get started? First with Backcourt Violations.
Yes.
Talk about your podcast.
Well, with the podcast, I got started with Sam Mushman one day. We were at a show in Brooklyn. Shout out to Reggie Green, the Green Room Comedy Show. And he sees this tall guy. He was like, hey. And I go, hey. And basically, we went from back and forth and found out he played college basketball. I played college basketball. And he said, look, I have an idea for a podcast. I'm like, really? Do it. And this was like almost 4 years ago.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, recently he came through, because he's only been doing it for a year. He said, look, I want to get this going. Let's get this going. Because I'm learning with any idea, especially in the entrepreneurial world or anytime you're trying to get a business, it's an idea, but then you have to put it in fruition. You actually put it into works. You can talk every day. That's great. But to actually do it. So he literally said, look, let's find a place. Gratefully, I knew a guy named Chris Hamilton. He hosts over here after being called here at B-Box Radio. And the thing is, we got a good deal with Adam Smith, the first manager here. And from there, we just went off. So we talk about college basketball and a lot about off-the-court stuff. Everyone knows about Division I college basketball, Division II. These kids are treated like gods. Like, oh my God, it's Andrew Wiggins or that's LeBron James.
Yeah.
Right. But even at the college level, they're treated like celebrities. But we don't talk about what happens off the court. Okay, don't forget, a lot of these kids may have a scholarship over $100,000, but they don't have enough money to put gas in their tanks. Okay, they ain't got money to, buy a decent lunch outside their meal plan. So we talk about those stories. Talk about how these kids go through certain things. For example, a lot of these kids are 18, 19 years old.
Right.
Then you're thrust into an environment in which you're literally looked as a celebrity. You're not getting paid a lot of money, first of all. But then you have the pressure of being a star basketball player. And you don't have no financial background. You don't have no social skills. All you know is that in high school, you were the shindig. Everyone looked at you up to. Now you go to college, you have a whole bunch of other people who are the shindig as well. Now you have to learn your role. You have to learn how to interact with people. Because don't forget, most of these college players, they get into scandals because they're at a party and they punch a guy out of anger, but they don't realize right there you just almost ended your life, theoretically, because you can get your scholarship pulled away.
Right.
Or if you're trying to go to the NBA and they find out you're a kid that was doing marijuana or drugs like that because you're just being a young kid, they can say, you know what, we're not going to sign you because you don't look good in the public eye. So we talk about those stories and stuff like that, and also what's going on in college basketball, which I'm a huge college basketball fan.
But it's funny that you say that, though, Vince. I think that's why then the boosters or the alumni, they come in to help out these kids, so to speak, by getting them a meal or getting them a car eventually. I mean, you hear that in college football too.
Oh, college football was big with that.
Because you got these boosters and all that
come out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's seen the movie He Got Game with Ray Allen and Denzel Washington. Right?
Yeah,
it's a great movie, but it shows exactly what high school students go through when they're going to a college program. Every college team wants to win. How do you do that? You get the best players. So what they do is, and I'm sorry about my phone, you try to do everything you can to recruit them. Now, it's supposed to be you go on a visit, you look at the campus, you look at the academics, and you see if that's going to make your life better. But no, these college coaches sometime back in the day will throw money at you, will throw money at your family, give your dad a car, okay, give your grandma a house, okay? And it can get extravagant like that, but with the NCAA cracking down on those rules, now you got to be careful because that's bribery. A kid is supposed to be a athletic student, okay? No, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be a student athlete. But they come in as an athletic student.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you're supposed to be a student athlete first. That's why you have to have a certain GPA to even play in a team. However, coaches, they do want their kids to grow up and actually be successful in life past basketball, but there's some coaches that don't care about that.
Right, they care about winning.
They care about
winning.
Yeah,
definitely. It's like that movie. Remember, what was it, like 20 years ago? Blue Chips.
With
Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was a great example, of the boosters, coming in. Yeah, that was a good movie too.
Exactly. But we dive into that and we talk about some other things. And we're both comedians. Me and Sam.
Okay. I didn't know Sam was. Okay.
So we add that humor in there.
Right.
But we had a great guest today, John Baniano. I can't pronounce his last name, but John B. And he talked about one thing with these kids is that the one thing you have to learn is to sacrifice. You need to sacrifice. If you want to be not good, but great, instead of going out with your friends, go to the gym. Instead of, staying at home playing video games, work on a drill in your room. Instead of, spending money on this and a third, like on clothes and stuff, why don't you spend it on a gym membership or a personal trainer to get better? A lot of these kids today don't do that because we live in the digital world of instant fame. Meaning this, right now with you guys right now on this great podcast, right? We have a great time, and let's say someone recorded it, and all of a sudden I say something extravagant, inspirational, or I get up and I fall and bust my head open, okay? Mm-hmm. In this world, we put on social media, there's a chance that could become viral. Then I'm famous in an instant. Boom, money's coming in. Don't forget, we have in the time of if you're virally famous, Insta famous, or Facebook famous, or Twitter famous, people will pay you to promote their stuff to make money. Okay, like if I had over 10,000 followers, it would not be surprising to me if some company who sells watches or vests, I always wear a vest and tie. I'm on a radio show wearing a vest and tie. No one can see me, but I think about what I look like. But the thing is, someone can pay me and say, look, I want you to wear my vest. I'll give you free vest and about $50 a week. Just post it on your social media. And people do that and make a lot of money.
Right.
Like the headphones you have on right now. Okay? Michelle right now can have some nice pair of jeans. If you have enough following, people will pay you and you get insta famous. But here's the thing, kids are so used to that's the norm. They're not used to working for something.
Right.
They're used to just having an instant, boom, I'm good for life. We came from a generation that you had to put your foot to the pavement. You had to work to get what you had to be. If you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to do a business, it wasn't just one day as a millennial, you're in a coffee shop and say, bing, I'm going to make cotton ball candy cakes, whatever, and boom, you get it. No, you had to get the idea, go to people, get sponsorship, go around, make sure people are interested, go door to door, because you didn't have a phone or Facebook or MySpace. I mean, I've been watching great videos about these entrepreneurs that are, again, looking at these kids who come into these businesses and they think they're entitled. And that is the fault of the parents. And I'm saying this on this podcast. It's the parents. Now, granted, Woody Allen, a great performer, said this, 80% of success is just showing up. That's cool. But that 20% of actually doing whatever you're doing, it's still missing. Now kids are getting 100% of the praise and the awards or whatever just for being there.
So Vince, with the podcast, when is your show?
My show is every day now. It's every Saturday at 10:30.
Okay.
As the live, and then you can see us on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
Backward Violation. You can subscribe. Please subscribe and comment. Also SoundCloud and actually on the Beatbox Radio website. It's actually there as well.
Okay. So from podcasting, how did you get into the comedic world?
Comedic world. Okay, that's an interesting story. And let me know if I'm talking too much. You guys.
No. This is the guest here.
Well, the thing is that the comedy world, it's a funny story, and I always talk about it. It was my ex-girlfriend in college. I was really corny. I was like a Nick Cannon corny. I thought I was the hot stuff. Like I would the worst jokes in the world.
Never heard that one.
Nick Cannon corny. But Nick Cannon corny, yo, he's still making millions of dollars. He's a businessman.
Yeah, exactly.
One day my ex-girl was like, you should do stand-up comedy. I'm like, I know I can't. I can't go on stage. Public speaking is the number one fear in the world. Like, seriously, number one, it's right above death. People rather die than speak at graduation or at their own, inauguration. So I was like, no, I can't do this. And then one day I woke up and I said, screw it, I'm just going to do it. So long story short, I performed at Comics. It was on 14th Street. I'll never forget this. And I did my show. I got off. And this guy came to me, looked just like Alec Baldwin, just like him. And his wife was like, yo, you did really good. I said, really? You did really good. And this guy looks like Alec Baldwin. I said, you look like Alec Baldwin. His wife's like, yeah, I get that a lot. Let me buy you a drink. He buys me a Jack and Coke, and we talk. And the funny thing with that is, about three years later, I told my brother that story. And he said, really? Go on to Instagram. Go on the website. And we're going through different websites, and we look up Alec Baldwin, and we look up his wife. And I said, oh, his wife looked at that. It's like, that was Alec Baldwin, you idiot.
Wow.
So my first show, I performed for Alec Baldwin. Now, he's not going to remember me. Of course not.
Right.
But from then, it was just a constant, let's see if I can make this work. Now, we want to talk about comedy, and if another thing about being an entrepreneur and also business, comedy and acting can never get you so far when it comes to funding, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you don't make a lot of money unless you made it. That's why I have a full-time job.
Right.
And I won't say the company I work for. But I do work with insurance and stuff like that, and it's the 9 to 5, and I have a salary, and I make sure I have my health benefits because healthcare is expensive.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I am diverting away from the starving artist. I am sick and tired of that term. I'm a starving artist. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to quit everything to pursue what I love so I can have creative accessibility. Shut the hell up. Shut up. You live in a car for 3 years, and what do you have to show for it?
You know what? It's so funny because I do hear that a lot. I do hear that a lot on the creative realm. I hear from people that I know that they lived in a car, or they were homeless and they were what they call that couch surfing. Couch surfing, crashing at people's their friend's house and all of that. And I'm like, okay, is that really the case, or
is that necessary?
Just to get sympathy from like the people that are the audience? Because some people just say it to get sympathy from the audience.
Yeah, and you know what? If you, for example, people talk about, Steve Harvey, they talk about Jamie Foxx, these guys came from the ghetto, ladies and gentlemen. They came from hard times. So they had to live in their car. They were taking care of their families, or taking care of themselves, so they had to. This generation now, you don't need to do that. You have a lot of programs that will help you. You got a lot of family members. Now, if you're alone, okay, that's one thing. But if you have a mom and dad, why don't you suck up your pride and move back home? There's nothing wrong of moving back home. Hold on a second. I got to make sure I put an asterisk and an exclamation point next to this. Moving back home with plans to get out. Not just freeloading off your parents. You're moving back home because I know the rent I pay. I know for a fact if I move back home, I could pay off all my debt within 2 to 3 years. All of it. If I move back home.
Right.
But I needed a peace of mind. That's another story. So I moved out on my own. It's another story. But these creatives want to do that. And I'm like, why? I am not okay with me eating tuna fish every night. I'm not okay when I go out with my friends. I can't pay for a drink. Are you serious? My roommate, Iman Barnes, shout out to her. Right now she's on the cruise. She's dancing. Amazing dancer, by the way. She does theatrical dancing and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
She said, how you go out and you're a performer and you cannot buy a glass of water? Think about that statement. It's supposed to be free. Right. You're so broke you can't even buy free water. Okay? And they say, no, but I'm doing it for the art. There's no need. Because what you have to do is sacrifice 2 things. Personal time and sleep.
Right.
We're young. I'm young. So I know when I hit 40 or something like that, yeah, it's going to catch up to me. But for these 20 years until I hit 40,
Right.
I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off. And that's when you work your hardest.
Right.
Now, the point is that I don't believe in that starting harvest because I want to make sure I can still take care of me, my girl, my family when they need something.
Well, it's funny. Me and Michelle did a show a few months ago. Well, we saw this article in Entrepreneur Magazine.
Yeah.
What was it, Michelle? Like 50 ways you can start your own business for like under $5,000, even cheaper. And I think dog walking was one of them.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other ones, Michelle. But I mean, like you said, there's tons of ways to have your own business or to make.
There's dog walking.
Yeah,
there's,
selling stuff on eBay.
There's being a nanny or a caretaker.
Yeah.
One of the things that was taught to me is that you don't back yourself up in a corner. You always have to have your options. If one option doesn't work out, you'll always look for something else. So you always have to have something on standby if one thing doesn't go accordingly, and pursue something else. So and we're living in an age now that most things are basically almost handed to you, per se. Technology is there. I also do real estate, and one of the easiest ways that you can do things now compared to how it was maybe 15 years ago is you have the ability to market yourself, brand yourself, and put it out there in the public through social media.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to promote yourself and the properties that you have, you can do that on social media. You have LinkedIn, you have Facebook, you have, there's this one called Reese's, which is specific for real estate agents. What else? You can even post stuff on Instagram, like pictures of specific properties as well. So there's different ways that you can do this really from home per se than physically going out and doing meet and greets. But again, that's like another option too. There's meetups, there's organizations, places that you can also go to connect and network with people to get your business out there as well. So we're in a perfect era where we can just do things from a computer.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but the perfect person that did it was Kevin Hart. Shout out to Kevin Hart. We out there. This man saw social media and literally ran with it. And people made fun of him. And I gotta admit, I was the people, I didn't make fun of him, but I didn't jump on that bandwagon. When Twitter first came out, I hated the idea. I'm not gonna lie. Hated it. Right. No one needs to know I'm taking a poop at 2 o'clock in the morning and I ain't got no toilet paper. That's what Twitter was about. You put your business out there. I'm keeping my business to myself. But he as an entertainer thought outside the box. That's what I want to say. When you say think outside the box, I have certain things in my room to remind me to, excel. I got like a quote from Inspire. I got a quote from here. And one of the things my cousin gave it to me, shout out to Ken, he's the director, it was a box. And it says think outside the box. And every day you got to think of something different. Kevin Hart thought that and said, you know what? This social media is going to touch millions of people. Let me be one of the first to promote myself. And from that, he was able to get where he is now because everybody knew about him before, quote unquote, everyone knew about him. Anyone can get easy quick. But once you get that money, what are you going to do with it? How about you invest in something and then see if that's going to be fruitful and reap the benefits? Like, for example, you guys in the real estate business. Perfect example. You put money in a house. You're trying to flip that house. It's not free. You find a banged up whatever, you put about 200 grand in there, then you sell it for 500 grand. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a 300 grand profit. It's the same thing with everything else in life. Right now, I'm at B-Box Radio. We pay a certain amount of fee. Now, there's no guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed. But however, I'm starting here doing Backward Violation. You're here working your podcast. What is not to say that it goes very well? And 5 years from now, somebody says, I like your podcast. I want to put it on my website too with tag B-Box Radio and we will pay you X amount.
Right.
That's when you got your money working for you. Invest in yourself, which I've learned. I've read a great book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'm pretty sure you read that too.
No, I think every entrepreneur probably.
Everybody. Yeah. I made sure I read it. You know what? Make money work for you. The first thing you should do is put money in yourself. That's why I've learned with my paycheck, I make sure I take X amount of dollars, put it for me. Boom, it's mine. And I don't touch it. Don't touch it. Now, granted, emergencies happen. I'm not going to lie. Right. But at least I always have some kind of money on me. Most people, and what statistics, I think 40, 50%, maybe 70% of Americans don't have more than $500 in their savings account.
Yeah, it was some
ridiculously high number.
Terrible. Yeah, it was a terrible number.
More than $500. You know what $500 can get you nowadays? 2 Cokes and a shake. That's what you can get right now. That ain't no money. That ain't no money. But okay, that's an individual. Why can't you as a family come together and save in bulk? For example, if anyone's listening to this and you have a big family, because my father came from a big family, 8 brothers and sisters. Okay, mom and dad. When they all turn old enough, what's to stop them to say, you know what, guys, we're all working, right? Let's take 5% of our paycheck and just put it in a savings fund, an IRA, a Roth, whatever, and let it build. 5% of your paycheck is not really hurting you, okay? All right. If not, let's do simpler. If you're a kid that doesn't make a lot of money, put $5. $5. Now, let's do the math. $5 for 10 months, that's $50. All right? Let's do it for 10 years. You just made a good little money. In 10 years, right? And that's small. That's why I am so glad to a guy named Chase Scott. When I first got the job with the company I'm with right now, right?
Right.
19, I was 20, 21 years old? 22, right? He said, do you have a retirement fund? And I said, why the hell would I have a retirement fund? I am 22 years old. I ain't retiring anytime soon. He said, boy, and he was one of them, like, them OGs, but working, you know, like, you know what I mean? He was like, dude, man, I wish I had people to teach me what I knew now, okay, at your age. I said, okay, what do you mean? He said, look, just get it. Take out 5%, 3% of your paycheck, and I'm telling you, it's not going to affect you. I was like, all right, dope. Started it when I first started my company, right? I was like, why am I doing this? All right? But the one thing I learned is that over the years, it kept building, it kept multiplying. I didn't know that my money was going into this retirement fund, but also my company was putting another percent in their retirement fund. So now I'm doubling my money. Like, holy, I didn't know this was happening, and I'm a young kid. This is when I was 22. Imagine if I started earlier than that. And now I'm looking at the benefits, I'm like, oh my God, because I invested in myself.
Right.
What I want to, another thing in this podcast, if anything takes away, my favorite quote, and I say it almost every day, from Eleanor Roosevelt. Learn from other people's mistakes because you cannot live long enough to make them all. If someone gives you advice, it's because they went through it. They're not trying to be arrogant. They're not trying to be all up and tight about themselves. They may be trying to help you. And even if they are being a little obnoxious and you think they're being arrogant, why don't you just listen for a second? Because this generation doesn't listen. You got free advice. I'm a stand-up comedian. I had people say, pay me $200 an hour. I will make it to the best comedian ever. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've done it. I'll say when I fall. For $200, guy sat me down, this, that, and the third, working this, one, that. I said, okay, cool. But then 2 weeks later, I went to a comedy club, talked to a very veteran comedian. The same thing the guy told me for $200, I got for free. Know why? Because I talked and listened. And I did not say to myself, I know everything. So I sat down, listened, and I got the same advice for free. When you learn to listen to people, especially people who are ahead of you, you will get a lot farther. A lot. You guys are listening to a podcast right now. Heck, you have every right. This is America to say, you know what, this guy don't know nothing. He a young dude. But if you look at me right now, I'm gonna invest in goddamn tie. I gotta make sure I got some 200 boots on right now, $200 boots right now. Now, am I proud about the price? No, but you know what? I can say for one thing, I can afford it. Now, when I said before about eating tuna fish every night, you know what? I don't do that. I can afford a steak. But guess what? I do eat tuna fish every night, not because I have to, because I want to. And I can save a little bit of money having a tuna fish sandwich instead of spending $17 for a piece of bread. Learn from people. The lessons that we have are out there, especially in this world of information. You can go online, there's an article, there's podcasts, there's something. The information is there. It's just also putting that plan into play. Stop talking about what you're going to do and just do it.
Do it, yeah.
3 things I've learned not to talk about. Not talk about your money, don't talk about your relationship, and don't talk about your next move, okay? It's hard as an entertainer not to talk about that because you have to promote yourself. You really have to, like tonight, I have a play. I have to promote myself. It's my next move.
Right.
But my auditions, I'll probably keep to myself. Okay, my drunk GPS and my hand rep dealer. Tried it out. 6:30. But you need to promote yourself, whatever. But if you have like a big idea, keep it quiet for a little bit. That's why I didn't like Twitter. Back to my Twitter thing. Why am I telling everybody my business? My business is my business. JayZ and Beyonce are so successful at their relationship because no one really knows about the relationship. They put out Lemonade, and I kid you not, I'm not gonna lie, 80% of black people all said, you know what? He did not cheat on her. It sounds like it did, but JayZ will be dead, first of all. It will be a knife in his neck. But it was a great play toward their business. We've done everything, Beyonce, everything. You're right, yeah, we did do everything. Oh, I got an idea. What? Let's pretend that I cheated on you. That's amazing. Because think about this play and think ahead. She puts out a track about him cheating on him, right?
Yeah, with Becky with the good hair.
Becky with the good hair. Now, what does that open up? A track of possibly either her going crazy or her cheating on him. Then a scandal comes out, and everybody loves paparazzi. TMZ gets a hold of that. Oh my God, that's more money. You know, all of a sudden they make up. Oh, everybody loves a love story. Oh, and they have another baby. Oh my God, right then and there, multi-million-dollar idea over just acting. Now we don't know, but here's the thing: the bracing, but we don't know if it's true or not. That's enough. We don't know if it's true. So if you have a relationship, if you got a business, whatever, unless you're promoting it to the better, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, because people also steal ideas. We got a lot of sharks in this world.
Yeah.
A lot of sharks. I can say from personal example, it's hard to steal my bit because being Jamaican Chinese is not everybody. But if you say a good joke, there's nothing that is stopping another comedian from taking that joke. Nothing. You have not made an LLC. You have not copyrighted. It's just a joke. And people can steal your stuff, but it's how you do it. Don't get, negative if people steal your stuff. That means you're doing something right. If people steal your stuff, that means it's good, period, all right? Especially if they make it work. Now, however, some things you keep to yourself. Anyone here, as Michelle is talking about and Will is talking about, it's all a business, okay? However, when you realize that you are the sole controller of your life when it comes to your money, whatever, you can do anything, period. You just got to make sure you understand what you should keep to yourself and what to give to the public. And we can go on and on about this, which is incredible. And I don't want to take up all your time. Like I think I'm talking about forever.
It's all good.
But yeah, and that's all. And then the last thing I don't know, you said I did stand-up, and also my actor as well.
Right, I was gonna ask you about that. Like, how did you get into that?
Acting was because as a stand-up comedian, it's one of my favorite stand-up comedians and actors, Robin Williams. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. I love him. Okay, crazy dude, able to do different voices at a time, and make sure that you can be here and be here too. Like just able to go into different characters, and I loved it. And I learned as a comedian, you're very dramatic. Why not put it into acting? Let me act a little bit. So I got invited to do a couple of web series. It's another business now. Anyone create a web series now? Anybody? So much content, but they have to put out the content. One of them is No Sleep Till 40. Shout out to JP and all the guys on the project. I can name them all, but No Sleep Till 40. Sal that. No Sleep Till 40. Right now, we started this about a year ago. And then we started promoting. As I told them about promote yourself. In 9 days, we have over 53,000 views on Facebook for one thing. We're going to reach 10,000 views on YouTube. Likes, now we don't have to follow on Instagram, but we have the views because we promoted it and we're hustling. As just like I said, you have to go out and knock on doors. It's the same thing I do with Instagram. You can't just post one thing and call it a day. There's still hard work in it. So every day our director, Jay, is posting it on this media platform, posting on that media platform, and he's making sure that he's getting the name out there, and then boom, things are trending. Okay, I'm in a web series called Roomies with a man named Brandon Millette, aka Sundance, which is doing another web series called Freedom. It's all connected, basically. And I got into it because, I just want to express myself on a different level. Right. And I'm allowed to be myself, but then market myself. Not a bad looking guy. I'm not conceited, but my mama did not have any ugly children. No ugly children, ladies and gentlemen. I have a beautiful sister and a great looking brother. We good looking people. Okay? Right. So
please don't hold back.
Don't hold back. I had one agent come to me, man, and she said, "You're a waste of face." I said, "What? You can promote yourself so much if you just promote your looks, but that's what I don't want to do. I want to promote my talent. Now, should I just suck it up and make that money? Yeah, I should. But, I listened to a whole bunch of greats, and Dave Chappelle had a great interview, and he did say his father told him something. He said, know your price. Know your price. The reason why I say that is because I actually did the modeling world. Mm-hmm. And what I saw, I didn't like, personally. Now, I can get into it. I don't want to, censor things, but also, name my name or something like that. But it just wasn't for me. I know a lot of models who are just conceited and full of themselves, and I'm like, that's not who I am. I'm a funny guy, I'm a silly guy, I like to talk, so I don't like this. Now, granted, it could just be that group of people that I met, but I didn't like it. I'm starting to get back into it now, but, I knew what I wanted to do. Now, will I change and adapt? Yes, of course I will. But as of right now, I have a plan, and I want to execute that plan. Now, everyone knows you're on a path, and you can have diversions. You have to make a left instead of a right. But as long as you get to that finish line, that's all that matters. But know your price. What are you going to do and what you're not going to do? I got an offer the other day. This guy came to me and said, "Hey, Vince, I see you're a good-looking guy. Da, da, da. I did a model show with him years ago. Cool. Hey, I want to do a nude shoot with you." I said, "Okay. Look, I'm comfortable of going to my boxers. I've done that before, but I'm not getting naked." "No, man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be you and a photographer, and it's great exposure." Okay, it's great exposure, but then you have to think about this. What does that do for yourself? And then saying that as a comedian, what does that do for me? So I'm gonna be naked. Is it funny? Is it not funny? Am I comfortable with that? I probably could make a lot of money, but I'm not comfortable with that at this time. I'll be in boxers. Now, in business, you compromise. We can make it seem like I'm naked, but I'm still in my boxers. He was adamant of saying, no, you have to be naked. I have seen nude photo shoots in which the person is not naked, but yet they still made it seem like they were naked.
Right.
Why do I have to be naked? And that's a red flag. Something doesn't feel right with this. If your gut is telling you it's wrong, because we are still animals. We still have primal instinct, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have not really evolved out of that. The whole point of how lions and tigers and are predators because they have instinct, but then you have prey like gazelles and deers, they know when to run. It's just something tells them to run. My grandma always taught me, old Jamaican, say straight up, if you hear a little voice in your head saying don't go, don't go. Period.
Right.
You listen to your gut. You listen to that little voice. Because sometimes it's better. I mean, that's happened a lot of times in my life. And I'm here today. You know what I mean? Like, I asked for a lot of things in my life, and I wish I can get into those stories, but they came in fruition because when I put it out in the universe and I worked toward it. You can do that. But and the whole time, those decisions. And you gotta make, sometimes you gotta make hard decisions, especially in the business world. Real estate agents here. Sometimes you're like, I wanna buy that house. Nah, I shouldn't buy that house. No, something's telling me not to. And all of a sudden, someone else buys that house and they make a shit ton of money. You're like, damn it, I should have bought that house. But you know, you just live with it. You live with your choices.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I'm doing now. I'm living with my choices. Could I be a famous model right now? Maybe. Could I be some guy on the top of, not Ebony, but Sports Illustrated or something like that? Maybe. But I am doing what I love, 9 to 5, helping people. And I'm doing what I love even more after the 9 to 5, which is another thing I want to take home, because we only have a little bit more time. And thank you guys so much for having me. You need to find a balance between your 9 to 5 and what your dream is. Make sure.
How does that work for you?
How does that work for me? What I do, I help people all the time.
Because me and Michelle, we have 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
having someone other, perspective from someone else, might shed a light.
It's hard. It's like I said, you have to sacrifice sleep and personal time, but I enjoy my job. I can bet 85, 90% of people wake up, the alarm goes off, and they go, shit! God! I gotta go work with these people I don't even like. I don't want to have a Secret Santa. I don't want to touch this person at the water cooler. And they go to work and they go, hi, Bob. How are you? Yeah, things are great. And they're just dead inside. Luckily, God has blessed me with that. I wake up and I go, all right, who am I going to help today? And I wake up happy. People cannot understand always being happy. And then I do my stuff at my job and then I go perform. So I do a sensor kind of performance. Right now I got someone on Instagram who I was on the phone with. And she commented to me, she said, thank you so much for making my call center brighter. Because I made her laugh the whole time. Now, my work gets done. Do not get it twisted. My work gets done. I work my butt off. But I'm going to find joy in whatever I do. Never let anyone take joy out of what you do. When I worked at a certain company, they try to do that. They try to shackle me. When I was doing everything they quote unquote told me to do, but excelling at it, but they wanted it their way. Now, granted, yes, you should follow instruction. But you told me to get this done, and I'm going to get it done. I'm not breaking any rules, whatever. All I'm doing is communicating. Why am I getting in trouble for communicating? Some people don't like that because they don't like people upstating. I had a manager that was able to do his job a little bit better at one thing. It wasn't his job, just one thing better. They didn't like that. They didn't want to give me no credit, which is fine. I was young. Take the credit. But don't tell me not to do it. And then the same situation, 4 months later, when I was like, hey, can I do this? Oh, they were up in arms because I also saved that company $2 million. No, you can do whatever you want now. It's all about results. If you put results, people don't care. But I enjoy what I do during the day, and I enjoy what I do during the night, and that's why I'm able to live. And another point from that is that I'm truly happy. So people don't. I have a couple of people, my friends, they always ask me, how you doing? Awesome. Okay, how you doing today? Great. Spectacular. No one could be great and spectacular all the time. I got cursed out by these people. And I said, yes, you can. It's up here. Because you could do the whole, if you have a house, clean water, food, then you're richer than 90% of the world. I think about that all the time. And granted, I work my butt off for stuff, so I'm going to take what I want. But one of the facilities I work at is a rehab facility. And then you see people waking up with no arms, no legs. I've had patients in which they were the top of whatever they're doing, a lawyer, architect, doctor, and one day a brain bleed, one day a stroke, and now they can't remember how to tie their shoes anymore. You have patients that have MS who now can't walk anymore. You have patients who have cerebral, like a whole bunch of these diseases, and yet a lot of these patients actually are still smiling because you know why? They're glad they're alive. So you take that in anything you do. Be glad you're doing, one, what you want to do, because if you could do that, that's beautiful. But just be happy that you can wake up. Every day I take from my great-grandfather who's 98 years old, bless pops, my grandmother who had cancer, osteoporosis, multiple myeloma. And she always said, thank God you woke up, because tomorrow is never guaranteed. Never. Right? So every day I wake up, I'm glad, one, I could put 2 feet on the ground, take those 2 feet and walk to the bathroom, and also use my own 2 hands to use my ding-a-ling, because I don't need someone to wipe my butt. Because I know some patients who have people wiping the butt every day. Be appreciative of what you have and stop thinking about what you don't have, and more think about of working for it. Nothing will be given, but we were talking about before, everything's given lately. No, work for what you have, because I guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be so much more appreciative when you work for it. When you bake a cake, I don't know why, it just tastes better when you bake it. When you buy it from the store, yeah, it's good. But when you bake it, the first time it may taste nasty. The second time, same thing. But when you get it right, it tastes better than any cake possibly. You know why? Because you put the work in. You got the proportions right. You probably lit a little doctorate to it. But you worked for it. And that's what I love what I do now. Everything I'm doing now, I'm working for it. There's no guarantee I'm going to be famous tomorrow. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get $1 million deal. But I do know there's one guarantee, that I'm doing everything in my power to get where I want to be, so I'm happy. Work. Put the sweat in, put the tears, and it's going to be ups and downs, all right? Stop thinking everything is star-spangled awesome and everything is freaking fruits and rainbows and ponies. Shut up. Especially in the industry. If you're in the industry of entertainment, get ready. And a quote from Dave Chappelle, your dreams will be broken, destroyed, okay? But it's not what you do when you get down. You get down, all right. It's what you do after you get back up. Anyone can get back up, but you can continue that? Just think about that. I don't think people elaborate that. You can get knocked down, and anyone can get back up, and a lot of people get back up. But do they still pursue what they were trying to do that knocked them down? But then you have to have a self-realization. Sometimes something's not for you.
Right.
Something's not for you. If you keep trying and keep getting knocked down, maybe you should divert.
Yeah, eventually you're going to have to say, maybe this is not meant to be here.
Look, if you're 4'2" and you're trying to go to the NBA, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. However, you could be 4'2" and be a manager of the Atlantic Hawks, New York Knicks, LA Lakers. You can be a social media rep for those teams. You can still be a part of your dream. Now, people don't like to settle, but think outside the box.
It might lead you to somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still involved in. If you're not good at public speaking, being a stand-up comedian, but you're a phenomenal writer, what's wrong for you for writing for Louis C.K., Kevin Hart, D.L. Hughley, Deja? What's wrong with that? Because guess what? You're still getting cut a check and be a part of what you love. Sometimes you don't. And as Michelle said, if plan A doesn't work, always have a plan B and C. Plan A is never guaranteed. Plan B is not guaranteed. Plan C is not. But guess what? At least you have options.
What is that quote? If you're not planning, then you're planning to fail. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Always have an option.
Yeah.
And that's why I really, from this, I know this about businesses and work, and I know I'm just ranting right now.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, what you said, and me and Michelle talk about it. Everything pretty much interacts with everything else. Where if you can't do this, like Michelle is besides real estate, she also does some articles. Michelle, you can speak on that.
Well, basically, and Willie is always making fun of me on it because he says
she's part Jamaican.
Are you like part Jamaican or something?
Yeah, she's part Jamaican. She got like
job.
Yeah, she does. She got 8 jobs.
Yeah, but the thing is that I do things that are in the realm of media. I enjoy it. I like engaging with people. If it's talking to them in person, talking to them through the phone, even doing a podcast or whatever. It's just engaging, interacting, and speaking my mind. So I write articles. I write articles for various magazines. You know, on top of that, yeah, I do the real estate stuff. Why? Because it's engaging with other people, trying to help them out. Like you, I like to help other people. So I do get some type of satisfaction of knowing that I'm helping someone out. And I'm not asking for the money because it's like I've always said to other people, success, it comes in various forms. For some people, it's money. I'm not knocking it. But for me, it's more of just having my identity, having my, just doing things that I love to do, and having some type of recognition for doing something positive.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how, you know, that's how I do things. And some people look at me side-eye. They're like, are you sure that you don't want anything? Are you sure that there's no catch? It's just, this is how I am. And it's rare to see that nowadays because people are always so selfish and self-absorbed, and they're only wanting to do things for themselves and not care about anybody else. Yeah. Now, for us, you know, and you know, and Willie can also agree on it. We have a real estate company. We have two real estate companies. We have the One World Properties, which you know, Willie runs, and I'm partnered with him, and
hey, Michelle,
we do multiple projects on, and then we have the excuse me, the WIM Group, and our focus is to basically have what they call a win-win situation. Is we get something out of it, the other person gets something out of it. It's not
Michelle,
so much stuff.
Michelle, I'm sorry to cut you off. We got 30 seconds left, so please take us out.
Okay. So basically, the sum up is just being there and giving to other people, and everything else will follow. Follow your heart. Follow what your passion is, and everything else will take its place.
All right, then. Listen, for Michelle Wang, I'm Willie Morales. Vince, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much for having me. All right. And,
thanks, Vince, for being on our show.
Oh, anytime.
Until the next time, guys.
You too. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye.